How's everyone doing? So, Monaco beat us 2-0 last night. Game of two halves for me. Second half wasn't great. First half, I was very impressed with certain areas. I thought we looked really good against a very good side for what we will be playing in the Championship. Monaco, in terms of individual players and where they'll finish this year and what they'll do, I think are met levels above. But yeah, let's get into the player performance, the player review. This is what this is. This isn't anything else. This is a performance review on how they played yesterday. All right? Maybe combined with how they played against Manchester United. Let's get into it. And obviously, we'll start with goalkeepers. Ilan Melia was the only goalkeeper. He's played 90 minutes this game. What I put first there was understand the system. What I mean by this is he seemed to understand more where the options were. He seemed to give the ball a bit quicker than the others. He made slightly missed mistakes playing out from the back. He made one, I believe, which went straight to a defender. But bar that was all right. But nervy and unsure simply because I think that's his persona. He always does look a little bit unsure on the ball, but today the outcome was actually usually fine. But it doesn't fill you with confidence, obviously. That's a communication you have with your defenders and the players in front of you. You want to feel that confidence from the goalkeeper. Not fault for the goals for me. Some people saying he's not. The position for me is fine where he stood. I've just watched the goal back on the highlights, and I'll go through the goal in the review. Look, it was fine. Didn't do anything great. Didn't do anything terrible. A 6 out of 10. And I'm going to move my head down so people don't complain. I'm going to go a little bit more detail with some players and others, right? Because obviously if I did, this video would be too long. So we'll start off with Cody Drama. Didn't play much. Came on. I thought he was fairly quiet. Had one or two decent crosses. Yeah, fairly quiet. Not great impact. What worries me about Cody Drama is overlapping or underlapping the winger. That shooting forward. He doesn't seem to quite understand that yet. If that's what he was told to do when he came on, I don't know. I imagine he would. I don't see why he wouldn't. I think Luke Ayling has got a better grasp of the system at the moment. So that was my thing with Cody Drama. More impacting a game. He doesn't impact a game enough right now for me. For what his ability states he should do. Philly Haldy, on the other hand, I think he was a little bit above Cody Drama in terms of performance. I actually think, as a 1v1 situational defender, he's actually quite good. He does get caught out a little bit diving into tackles. He's a young guy, he's 19 years old. But I think in terms of going forward as well, he's slowly building a bit of an impact going forward. The passing is decent, short passing. He's fairly good at finding an option, then moving. I give Yelda a 5.5. Again, not enough impact for me, but more impact than, say, Cody Drama did yesterday. Luke Ayling had the most impact from fullback for me. Put some decent crosses in, was always an option on that right side. Tracked forward really well. The problem is in a Farker system, getting back. People say, he left a gap. He didn't leave the gap. That's the system. The system left a gap. But I thought he was the most effective fullback on the pitch. Was fine defensively as well for the most part. Look, every fullback gets beat. So I give Luke Ayling a 6 out of 10. I know people have agendas against, they don't like the old guard, but this is a performance review. This is based on the performance against Monaco. This is no, he should leave, he should stay. I said this last week. This is about the performance of the game, not what's going on off the pitch, not what's happening around the club, the contracts and all that fun stuff. This is about the performance yesterday. The other two, so Sam Byron, which I don't think anyone was expecting really. I thought he was fine on the ball. I think passing is very safe. He played back a lot, but he didn't lose the ball in hesitating areas. He wasn't hesitating on the ball. I thought he was very vocal. Every time I saw him, he was speaking, asking people, telling people to move. Which, for someone that's just joined or is in, rehabilitation fitness zone, I thought that's quite impressive. I think he lost it going forward in terms of driving with it. I think he drove into a lot of cul-de-sacs, which I don't think Daniel Farker really wants his side to do. But look, he's been here a few days. Whether he's staying, I don't know. That's another video. Basing his performance. I mean, it was all right. I don't think he looked out of place. It looked extraordinary. Just looked all right. Just did the fullback things. Tried to get forward a bit. Got a few crosses in the box. One decent cross actually. Charlie Creswell. I'll spend a little bit longer on Charlie Creswell. Now, the reason I put a 4.5 is probably one of the lowest. It's just based on what I want to see from Charlie Cresswell as well. I think he was slow in possession. What I mean by that is, it was always, you looked at the first half, and we'll go into Pascal and Liam Cooper. Predominantly Pascal in the first half, then forward passes through to the midfielder, through to the 10, Hortensio Somerville, were excellent. And that helped more than anything to get us forward. Because once you have the option to go through, you can bypass an entire press with a risky pass. And Pascal did that a lot in the first half. I think in the second half, whether it was down to the movement of the midfield, the rotations in there with the less experienced players, whether it was down to confidence or understanding the system, we've got to understand Charlie Cresswell's been here a few days. He's not been here long. He's like 7 or 8 days behind a lot of these guys, which is normal. He's performing at what they were performing at 10 days ago against Manchester United. That's what he's at right now, so you can't be too harsh on it. I just think he went long too much. It was always round and over. There's no through in the second half, really. And when we did go through once or twice, when Jorginho Rutter dropped into that 10 role, where he's more effective, when he's not the last man, we went through, and that's when we created our chances. Otherwise, it was just round, which didn't work because their shape didn't allow it. It's easy to mark round because there's a pitch to end in the middle. It's all around you. Whether that's through the centre-backs, the movement of the midfield. Just think Charlie was too quick to go long, and I doubt Daniel Farke pulled them to do that, potentially. But like I said, he's behind on his development because he's not been here for 8-9 days since everyone else has. But yeah, wasn't great today. I think the goal as well, the cross is early. You're not expecting that to come to the edge of the box, across to the edge of the box with one guy on the edge of the box. No one expects that. Having said that, he's won the header on the edge of the box and scored a goal from it. Whether that's his or the other centre-back's fault, I don't know at that point, but it went in. So I'll give him a 4.5 this week, Charlie Cresswell. The first half pairing centre-back I thought was decent. 5, Liam Cooper. That might look slightly harsh, but 5's a fine score. I don't think he did anything extraordinary. I don't think he did anything terrible. I just thought it was fine. He did his job. Pascal, decent partnership. Didn't concede. Were they playing? I think they were playing when the penalty, right? Or did one come off? I can't remember. But it's a penalty. Like, fairly solid. Slow in possession again. A little slower than Pascal. Didn't quite make those riskier passes than Pascal did. Good leadership. What I mean by that is, say it last week, that partnership. People just seem more comfortable and seem to understand the system more when they're with Liam Cooper. You know what I mean? Whenever he's playing, we just seem to be, whether he's an extraordinary player in terms of being the best player on the pitch, maybe not, but still being that presence and understanding the role, Liam Cooper is very good at that. We naturally look more organised when he's on the pitch as a whole. So I give him a 5. Fine. Really impressed with Pascal Struijk yesterday, and this is why I'm not going to get overthinking by this. It's one performance, right? But I'm not also going to get underthinked by a terrible performance, even though they have been not great for a long time. But this is a new manager. This is a new start for Pascal. It's a new dawn, I guess you could say. Back in the Championship, ready to rebuild the confidence again. And I just think he played really well yesterday. I really do. Everything you want from a Daniel Farke centre-back, he epitomised it. But he was calm on the ball. He won his battles. The line was really good, and a line is really important in a Daniel Farke system. I know how many times is that 4 now I've said that? 5? Excuse me. But Pascal, for me, impressed me a lot, I'll be honest. I thought he was very solid. That forward progressive passes are huge in this system, where you're just stuck, like in the second half, you're just stuck playing round and out, and it doesn't work here. You've got to have them midfield options, and you've got to have the players who are willing to make those risky passes. And Pascal did that, and I was really impressed with him. And when he does pass it, he puts zest on it. Hits it. He doesn't roll to them. He hits it hard into them. That obviously helped with Ampadu in there. We will get on to. But I was very impressed with Pascal, and we need more of this now. Hopefully he's found his form. He's found his confidence. The right side, the centre back, he looks a lot more comfortable. I guess it's less one-sided. You're not always looking out. You can always look in when you're left footed. But yeah, I was impressed with Pascal. I'll be honest. Really good performance from him last night. Good to see. Midfielder in the second half. The last 30 minutes. Dako JB, I'm not brave enough. Again, looking at that midfield rotation, looking at playing through the midfield. He was an option at times, but not enough. Was he screaming for the ball? Was he demanding it? don't know. I couldn't hear it. Obviously, I'm not there. Compared to the Man United game, where he was always in there, looking the shoulder, looking in them positions to turn with it and drive with it. That progression that is needed. He was a bit lackluster with that. Maybe it's a partnership. Maybe it's understanding a partnership better. Maybe he understands a partnership with Archie Gray better, potentially. I give him a 5. It was all right. Midfielder wasn't great in the second half in this particular game. Similar for Shaq. I just think lack of rotations with Darko JB being an option. But when you are an option, being able to then progress the ball, a lot of it was backwards, which is fine, but there's got to be more progression with that, and there just wasn't. I give Shaq a 4.5 and Darko JB a 5. Now, the partnership in the first half, by the way, I just want to say this. People complaining about Monaco are a good side. And in terms of individuals, they'd be top of the championship in terms of what players they have. Let's be real. People, they're going to finish top 4 in France this year. They'd be mid to low in the Premier League. They're a good side, all right? Let's not over-exaggerate, the performance when we're playing a good team, like a good side who should be beating us. But anyway, that's whatever. Ethan Ampadu, Archie Gray, really good partnership. I really enjoyed it. Archie Gray 6.5, which is a very good score. I just think he looked comfortable again. He just suits this level, doesn't he? He's good at this level. There's not too much to say on Archie. I don't want to say too much. He's a young guy. But I just thought he looked comfortable in there. In the second half, what he did in the second half was, I think he might have been told to take more risks. Try to take guys on. He got caught once or twice, but I don't care. That's what pre-season is all about. Everything we're watching is good because it's pre-season and you need to make mistakes. You need to show weaknesses because the manager then has a clearer idea of what he needs and what needs to happen. If you're winning every game 9-0, you're not going to think, we don't need to sign. You're going to think, we're fine. We don't need to sign anyone. It's false hopes. You want to play good teams and you want to concede terrible goals because then you know going into the season how to prepare for them. I can't stress that enough. I know people say it's pre-season, but it is pre-season. There's no but in my opinion. It is pre-season. That's what happens. That's part of it. I've been terrible pre-seasons. We do not reflect what happens in the season one bit because the worse the pre-season is, the better the season tends to be because you learn more from it. But anyway, Archie Gray was decent, looked really solid in there. He's going to be a really good squad option this season. Hopefully, Archie Gray, really impressed with him again. But Ethan Ampadu was just a level above, hence the 8. 8's a really high score. And I was going to put 7.5, but I just think on the ball, that progression, it was brilliant. He always progressed it. It was always an option in risky areas with a defender close to him, even though I got told we don't do that. We do. I can show you 8 or 9 times Ethan Ampadu did that himself. Got the ball, give it to him, looked, where can he go? Is the ball out? Is the ball behind him? Where's the option? Can he go back behind him? Into out. The rotations in the first half really impressed me. Some of the interplay in the final third was good. It was just that final ball. Ethan Ampadu, what a signing. Ball progression, solid and creative. Both of them. Solid at the back. He made some brilliant tackles. Last-ditch blocks. Yeah. What a signing and a fantastic game. 8 out of 10. Ethan Ampadu. Good midfield pairing. We'll fly through these. Crescencio Summerville. For me, what I liked about Crescencio in that 10 role was Crescencio. He wants the ball. He's not shy of it. He will drive at players. He will win free kicks. He will progress it well with dribbling. And I like that directness. We needed that. The connection between the midfield, the deep midfield, and the number 10 was huge. That helped us progress. We had none of that in the second half, really, apart from once or twice. But I don't want him to be a 10 in this system, based on the fact that I think this goal scoring, we don't clear chances. That came for me from the kind of lack of directness into the striker, which is another issue from the wingers, and the number 10. Crescencio Summerville will run with the ball and create a lot of chances in terms of getting you forward. But in the 10 role, in a Daniel Farke system, that's 8, you need to have, and one of the most important things is that killer pass. That creates the chance. That creates the one-on-one. You beat the midfield. You're in front of the defence. You need that pass. And it's got to be perfect. And Crescencio, it's not his attribute. He will run at people. He will beat defenders. He will do that any day of the week. He's brilliant at that. He's really good at that. Probably the best in our team at being direct and beating defenders, in my opinion. Just that final pass, it's not his Tyler play. It's not what he does. And I just think that didn't translate to creating chances because of that. But as a winger, in terms of that performance, I'd love it. But in terms of that 10, I just think we need someone with that killer technical pass. Joffrey was all right. Look, again, I think it's a squad option this year. Joffrey, really good attributes. We know what he can do. He did it when he came on 2 seasons back in the Premier League. We know what he can do. We know he can impact. Just finding that role. I don't think he's a 10. Or if he is a 10, he's not a starting 10 again because of the same reasons. I just think that little pass, that technical pass. Joffrey's really good at turning with the ball. Really good at it. Really good. He'll turn with the ball. He'll knock it past the guy and he'll pass it out wide, which is good. But again, that killer pass through the middle, he's not quite got it. Again, being a squad option, coming on the pitch when you need that little bit of energy, that little bit of desire, that little bit of quality, in terms of going forward. Joffrey's a great man for that. And he'll grow through that role. But we still, for me, that number 10 role is glaring to have a real Daniel Farker type player. Yeah, 6.5 and 6, solid performances. The front three, Sinisterra, we'll quick go through Sinisterra. It wasn't as direct this game, but I actually thought the interplay and the link-up play, watching it back, well, I haven't watched it back, but when I watch it back, I'll watch it. But what I remember is what I was going to say. He's really well linked up. He kept the ball progressing. The movement was brilliant. He created spaces for other people. 6.5, solid performance. Wilfred Ronaldo frustrated me in that game, I'll be honest. Didn't have the impact to give away a penalty, but that's whatever. It's whatever, innit? He did show glimpses. I just think he struggles in systems. He's got to learn systems. It takes a while to learn them, I think, for me, Wilfred Ronaldo. And he didn't start for Jesse Marsh a while because of that. And then you saw him to Javi, he never really got it. And then Sam Allardyce, who said in interviews, you don't know why he's not playing, and then didn't play him. I think he struggles with the systems, and he's got to get it because he looked frustrated in that system. He didn't understand where he was meant to go. He didn't affect the game near enough as Somerville did, or Sinisterra did. Yeah, not impressed with Neil Nonto yesterday. Rutter up top, didn't like it. Look, Jorginho Rutter for me is a 10 or a winger. I still think he's a winger in the system. Or has to be fighting for that place. I still believe in him. Look, this is one pre-season performance. I don't think he'll start there in the season. I really don't. I think we're going to sign someone in that position. He's going to play him behind, and he's very effective there. Everything he does is from a deeper position or a width position, predominantly the left. That's where he plays for me. Wasn't great yesterday up front. Looked lost. Didn't create enough depth. We need depth in this side. Yeah, the final three. Patrick Bamford. I'll just quick on Patrick Bamford. Yeah, couldn't get into the game really. The midfield didn't help. The ball soon weren't great at all. At all. They kept doing balls in behind when they've got a really big, good physical centre back. By the way, that centre back is a joke. The one in the first half, I don't know if it was the same person. I think it might have been. I can't remember. I didn't take the subs, but he's better than any Championship centre back. Let me tell you, he's a very good player. I can't remember his name. Very good player though. Yeah, struggled to get the ball to him, struggled to do anything with it. 4.5. So Joseph, again, the guys that came on didn't get into the game. The game got lost when all those subs were made. That's natural, that's normal. These guys are not as ready as the others. They've still got more to learn. Mateo Joseph, a young guy, massive talent. Some decent movement again from Mateo, some good movement, coming deep, going wide. Had a few direct dribbles, won a few corners, good stuff. Just a little too quiet, just didn't get involved. Again, that's down to the progression. Ball didn't get progressed to him enough. What can he do? Daniel James, I actually thought he was all right. People, the interview with Daniel James did, and a lot of Leeds supporters I genuinely really supported. Don't get me wrong, but there was a few, especially early on in the interview, a few comments. People complain about Max Philby who doesn't want to be here. You've got a player in Dan James who is showing desire, who wants to be here. And all people are complaining about is things. What do you want? We're not going to have 11 world-class players in the Championship. Daniel James is an effective tool in his side. Whether he starts or not, that's down to the player's performance in training and if we bring anyone in. But he was directed threat. He put 3 crosses in. I put 3 crosses. I counted. With the highlights, I watched highlights. 3 crosses in those highlights that all could have been goals. Could have been assists for Dan James. I thought it was good. 5.5 might be harsh. It could be a 6. Yeah, probably a 6 to be honest. That's harsh. Dan James was good for me. Still need more. I still need him to take guys on more. That's a confidence. That'll happen. Give him a few more weeks. I've just seen progressing. I'm seeing progressing more and more. But people don't like him, whatever. A lot of people, a small majority, I'm not saying a lot, let me just get that clear. A lot of Leeds fans are very supportive of him. Let's support the players that want to be here and stop thinking the players that want to be here. Let's save that for the ones that don't. They want to be here and he's performing fine, which Daniel James is. What's the point in being harsh? But yeah, that's what I think. Again, this is a performance review. It's not about whether I want players here or not. It's not about if I think they're good enough. This is simply based on one performance from the team against Monaco. There's lots of going on right now. That's not this video. I'm here to talk about the players and how they performed. Other stuff off the pitch, we'll save that for another channel or another video. That's not this. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I appreciate the support. As usual, you know, you guys are just saying, like, I keep saying it. Keep it nice in the comments. I'm really not in the mood for just nothing. You know what I mean? Just be nice. If you don't like a player, that's fine. But don't, you know, it's my opinion. That's all it is, just my opinion. But yeah, tell me yours. I appreciate support from the people that genuinely support me, which is most of you.